All right, how's it looking? Am I coming through? Testing, testing. All right, so are we live? Can you hear me and see me? Oh my gosh. All right, next time if all right, from now on I'm going to definitively say I'm starting now, and then y'all can say, "Hey Corey, hit the button again." So I figured out what happened. Let me mention in chat in Discord here. Um Yeah, it just now gave me an error when I hit the go live button, and I closed out the error message and then I tried it again and it worked. So something's happening on OBS's back end and I didn't catch it. It was definitely streaming. Twitch was getting it, but it didn't work on YouTube. So sorry about that. Thanks for hanging around anyway. Yeah, let me recap what I did. But I had your game pulled up. And I was asking you a couple of questions and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, they're usually so chatty. And I wasn't getting any feedback because I couldn't figure it out for a second. Let's go to gd.games. Let's see, was it one of these or do I need the link? Yeah, let me go get the link. That is so funny. I'm really sorry about that. Got it. Okay. So here we have your sort of blueprint for a conveyor system so you can paint. I figured this out since no one was responding to me asking about how to do it because I didn't hit the go live button on YouTube. I figured it out, and I figured out I can paint my name. And now we have Paint 3.0. So now you can do a conveyor belt of your name. I think the kids are going to love it. Press and hold space. Oh, nice. You can speed it up. Let me double check. The only thing I was trying to figure out was... Oh, okay. So pass through yellow lines to add +1 value. Gotcha. So let's see. We would actually want to do it like this then. Oops. Ideally. And I was wondering what happens if you destroy the road or the conveyor belt while they're on there. Wonder if they're... Are these deleting themselves? Heck yeah, Travis. Can't wait till you can show off your work. That's the problem. Doing all that back end work, it's not particularly hands-on-y, but you're gonna get there, man. It's hard to get people to interact with it, isn't it? They'll snap to the conveyor. Very cool. Yeah, you've got those, the frames are under control. Is this Blaze's font up here? The yellow will auto-rotate to conveyor direction. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you're gonna add it in. Nice, cool, man. Yeah, it's a nice system here. Did you? One of the questions I had when I asked the question into the void was, are these spawners? Did you use the prefab object spawners, or are these manually coded? Manually coded. Only start if a path is viable. Nice. Very nice. Oh, it doesn't like full screen. What if I go back? Or maybe it's just because I put so many. Let's see here. If we clear some off, do we get our frames back? It's larger than the normal play area. What yeah, what size did you use for the dimensions? Is it a 1920 by 1080? The default screen with zoom for testing. Right, yeah. So, let me see here. For the... What about for the default screen size, though? Is that 1920 by 1080? Nice. It'll have a grid, so you can only place on that. Also, you won't be able to place spawners. Sounds pretty cool. Did you play Factorio by chance? Never played it? Oh man. If you're going to do any more work on this, I do recommend at least watching a video or two. Not that, I mean, I know you're always working on different ideas, but if you do, let's see.
Hi, I'm Kalina.
Stupid ads. It's an ad for Upwork, which is what I used for my concept artist. All right, here's an example right here. Let me slow it down though. Yeah, just for learning a new mechanic. But this is kind of like the, I don't know, one of the pinnacles of the conveyor system is this game, is what this game implements. And I'm slowing it down, so it looks kind of choppy, I guess. But you have these arms. It's actually too much to see. I think this is a bad example. Let me see here. So like right here, you have these arms that are grabbing stuff and putting them on conveyors and taking them off of conveyors. And then it sorts the different types of objects, like bars of steel or bricks or whatever it is. Gears. And they can be placed into boxes off on the side. They can be placed into like, you know, furnaces and all that kind of stuff. So that's like what comes to mind when I see your template. I haven't played that one. Let me see when did this release? 20. Oh, this is new. And overwhelmingly positive. I don't get out much. So this is a 3D version of it. Nice. Yeah. I think I did see this when it was in early access, and then I kind of forgot about it. Is this one fun? Yeah, very similar concepts. Awesome. Uh, Welcome back. Thoughts on the game jam ideas? Any to add? Let's see here. Where was that discussion? So thoughts on the game jam idea. So I was, I guess, talking to myself for a little bit earlier, or to Twitch, but so for the game jam, I was thinking. See, what was the last thing I said here? I don't know what the last thing I said was, but I like the idea. If we could do like maybe a closed. We could do like maybe a closed Quarry Bond Studios group game jam. And so like a couple of different approaches. We could have me like stream the work and then everyone's contributing. Or if anyone else wants to, only a couple of us actually do GDevelop, but of course we've got artists, we've got writers. And so like we could do a little kind of a closed jam because it's just a small community. And then we could all contribute on something that we only have a week to complete. Yeah, we could limit it to like one asset pack. Something like that. And then we will have, what we could even do is something like we don't even actually choose. What we would do if we did this is we could have like a general overall concept, which would probably just be whatever the asset pack is. So maybe we could agree on an asset pack, but then we would have to inflict upon ourselves a generated a theme, and we could maybe pick like 5 and then vote or something like that. You just found out that buildings in your game can be 40 stories tall, but the tallest building in your game is going to be 14. Those are some pretty tall buildings. What's the limitation there? Is that an engine thing or? All right, let's see. Your ideas were in general chat. Oh, are you talking about up here? Because I voted on those. So that was... Yeah, you blow a bubble and float as far as you can. You're on a planet and have a limited supply of O2. A game about doing normal daily tasks, but you have to leave your house, which is your safety bubble. Simple bubble pop game, kind of like Fruit Ninja. A kid at school is thinking about what game they want to play when they get home. You play short versions of each game in a thought bubble and complete all of them before the end of the lesson to win. You control a bubble that leaks from a scuba tank deep underwater. It can constantly floats upwards, and you need to navigate past the fish, landscape, and maybe underwater currents. Collect upgrade points each journey to increase the health, bounce, or slow upward speed for a short duration. Trapped in a dungeon room that spawns acid bubbles, you have to survive as long as you can, dodging them. You can pop them, but they leave an acid pool for a few seconds, kind of like asteroids, but leaving pools instead of splitting. Let's see, did other people vote? So we've got 2 votes for the number 5 idea. I'll elaborate on that. I was thinking the number 5 concept would be, the number 5, I think you would get like street cred for it being more unique. For originality, because usually the game jams have a what do you call it? One of the criteria they'll judge you against is originality. And then I think the hard part there is you now have to design multiple small games and implement them. So even though it's inside of a bubble, you're now challenged with creating multiple games that themselves actually need to be fun as well, because your game loop is playing those games. So if you can do that, I think that's going to be your most challenging part. But I also think it's doable and it sounds like a lot of fun. The limitation, he says, for the buildings has to do with what you call elevation units. A single elevation unit is 1/4 of a meter. A story is 3 elevation units. Gotcha. So a single elevation is 1/4 of a meter. So a story is 3/4 of a meter. Also, what I was streaming earlier was I was putting together this little thing here. So I'll just pop it open while we chat. But so you need to beat a level in the bubble before your teacher asks you if you're paying attention, as the answer to what your teacher asks is at the level end. Fail too many, you get after school detention, so no gaming after school. Nice. I think it's cute. I think that'd be pretty popular. And if you can execute it, I think that's going to rate pretty highly. It does sound ambitious, having multiple mini games. But if you could at least get like... I mean... It seems like for your minimal viable product, you need one mini game, right? So if you can get the whole thing set up with the first mini game, then you'll be on track to pass the game jam successfully, and then you could spend the remainder of your time perhaps adding as many mini games as you can from that point on. Something like that. That's how I would think about approaching it. If you participate in this game jam, could you use any engine you wish? Let me see here. Travis, are you talking about the one that he's participating in? The where's the link to it? Right here. This is the YouTube one. Yeah, because we've tossed around a couple of ideas. One was the one that's the global game jam. The one you wished to do. And then there's the one that we were talking about, maybe just like us, our little community working on. Is that the one you're talking about? The little community one. Yeah, so I mean, we don't know. The answer is it kind of depends on how we want to approach that. So like we could do like with just one big co-op game jam where we all pitch in on one game, or we could make it like an actual game jam where, or rather, so we could basically do co-op or PvP, right? So it kind of depends on what y'all want to do. Lost in Code, for the global game jam, you should definitely enter it, and you should definitely submit it. Because from what I've seen, you work pretty quickly, and I think you should do it. I think co-op sounds fun. So with that being said, you know, we would have to decide on an engine, of course, but you like making graphics, so you can contribute that way. Yeah, you definitely could. And so obviously we could do whatever we want in whatever way that we want. And we also have, you know, our voice channel to screen share and talk in Discord as well. So some of it could be live streamed. All of it could be. Some of it could be offline, but we chat in Discord. Whatever we want. Obviously, setting up our limiting factor will be part of it. So we could put those to a vote. You know, generate like 5 or 10 and then vote on those. Honestly, since there are so few of us, we probably need to pick like 2 and vote on those. Otherwise, we might just get a whole bunch of single votes. Yeah, we could all suggest a theme each. And I think as long as we start from scratch in terms of the logic and I think because we've got Travis, we've got Blaze, I think we could even do all of our own art. The next step is going to take you months figuring out how the local game map that the player walks on is scary, complicated. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that goes pretty smoothly. I mean, that does sound like a robust system, but I'm sure you'll get it. And I think that once you've got it, you'll be able to move forward pretty quickly. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun. What might be interesting, like when I do a game jam myself, I usually use prefab art assets, and then I start from scratch on the logic. But if we have a couple of guys who can make the art, and then a couple guys who do the logic, and like I could do logic and sound as well. I'm pretty good with sound effects, but yeah, let's chat more. I think it sounds fun. Yeah, during the stream that only went to Twitch. Yeah, you're pretty good with making the... In fact, let me see here. I need to put a link to it in the game to navigate to it. But the... you made... skills. These icons in a short amount of time. And, yeah, and the mouse pointer, which I need to link to the other scenes as well. But yeah, during the stream that only went to Twitch, I was working on the scene, or the menu rather, where you customize your map object. So you come out of a level, you have your loot, and they're kind of like they're going to be opened up kind of like presents here at this menu. But as a placeholder right now, I'm just creating them by clicking this button. And each one populates, a bunch of stats go into a variety of arrays. And what I did specifically was I'm tracking those, so they're now stored. If I go back to the map, the world map, each of these will eventually take you to a different region in the world. So obviously I was working on some fire levels, so this goes to fire. And from here, you have your individual levels. So if you click on the one, that's going to take us to the level we just made, that lava level. But down here, this is the UI I've been putting together. It's very coarse at the moment, but it's a slider UI. And each of these is generating based on how many fire like scroll objects we have. So if I go back again, go to play, actually go back one more time. What do I do here? Maps. So if I look at these maps, these are all the maps that I have. I have one that's fire, two that are fire, just two. So if I keep creating these, I now have 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 36 total, but only 6 that are fire. So if I go back again, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 6 of these generated. And you'd be able to pick. So when I click on one of these, the next step is for it to show the stats, like bosses can spawn, enemies are tougher, or whatever it is. And you would apply that to whichever fire level you're playing. So you might have like lava fissures open up in your level periodically, which would be specific to the fire region. So that's what I'm working on. You're just about to begin creating a graphic asset for your game that you'll be able to show off soon. Nice. Yeah. Again, getting all that back-end logic working is a real headache, but it's a lot of heavy lifting. So it seems like once you get over to making some of the assets, I'm sure that's going to be really nice for you. Maybe prevent a little bit of burnout because it's a change of pace. It reminds you of Gemcraft Chasing Shadows. Nice. Very nice. I will take that as a compliment. I need to add a back to main button here, but yeah, that's what I did. I'm not going to do any more logic tonight because I a little bit wiped out, but yeah, that's the update. So I'm actually off work tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get a little more put in as well. Adding risk to the runs. Yeah, exactly. So if from here forward, the objective is to get as much risk reward customization into the game as possible. And then after that, it's mostly going to be content. I think that's kind of my core system. After that, it's going to be content, which is like a little more simple. In my mind, content is... What do y'all think? Do you think adding content is more simple? I know, Travis, you're working on your first game right now, but it seems to me like you could probably agree. Once you have your systems in place, like you're talking about getting your biomes and your continents and your player map that they walk on, after you have all that, then adding like just another thing in the world is like a little bit more easy and a little more fun. Well, if you know, fun depends. Fun is definitely subjective, but Code says he likes the logic. Yeah. Cool beans. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably end this this kind of backup stream now. But is there anything else y'all wanted to go over before we call it a night or a morning for code? You just want to play the video game of your dreams. Nobody else is making it, so you will. That's exactly what the guy from Spiderweb Software said. He said because he did those like old school RPGs. He said that if at the time the game he wanted to play had been made, he probably wouldn't have been a game dev. So that is hilarious, but so true. And Code, you definitely need to enter that jam. Your time has come. There's no escape. All right, awesome. Well, again, sorry for leaving y'all hanging. That was ridiculous. So I wish I could say it was the first time I've done that. All right, you'll think on it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Don't do it if it's going to cause you any grief, but if you work on it even offline, I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. Cool beans. All right, well, y'all have a good one. I'm going to call the stream now, and we'll be chatting with you. So thanks for hopping on despite everything. Talk to y'all later.